If you're just joining us, there is a quiz everybody's taking. It's under today's lesson, dated the 13th. Goodness. You should be finished in 1 minute, so we'll start in 1 minute. All right, it looks like 90% of you guys have finished the quiz so far. It looks like if you did better on this one than the last one, I'll drop the other grade. And if you do better on the next quiz after this one, I'll drop that grade as well. Looks like the average score, and I don't know what it look like, but the mode, what does mode mean? What is another good word for mode? We're going to begin now. So what is another good word for mode? And use your microphone. It's going to be really imperative that we talk. So what's another good word in mathematics that means mode? What's a synonym for mode? Would be a good synonym. No, not the chat. Talk. Talk, talk, talk. I'm really going to encourage you guys to talk.
Frequency.
What would it be?
Frequency.
Yeah, frequency. Frequency is a good term. I like that. What's another good term? Like, what would be a good descriptor for frequency? What could I put in front of frequency that would make mode even more meaningful?
The most frequent?
Yeah, most frequent, right? Most frequent. If I were to change that to a T there, most frequent. That's mode. The most frequent score for you guys on this quiz was 67. I just looked a moment ago. Most people scored a 67, which isn't all that bad. It would have been nice to get a little higher. Looks like we had a few 100s, but the mode, the people mostly scored a 67. So keep that in mind. So there's 3 modes of selection. The very first mode that we're going to look at is something called stabilizing selection. So think about it like the three bears. They all had a bowl of porridge. They all had a bowl of porridge, the three bears. They were all sitting there looking at the porridge. So all these bears are sitting here looking down at their porridge. They're saying, oh man, one of them is going to be too what? One of them was too what? Too hot. One was too cold. And the other was just right. Kind of right in the middle. So I want you to think about stabilizing selection is we're going selecting against extreme. So we would select against hot, we'd select against cold. We would want to select for this one. We would put arrows down here. These are going to be down. We don't want these. We want this. That's stabilizing selection. So let's take a look at an example. So I've got some bees here. Let me get a bee flying. And this little bee is flying around looking to pollinate a flower. In pollination, and remember in pollination essentially for plants equals reproduction. They've got to pollinate each other to reproduce. Pollen has sperm, has gametes. It fertilizes the ovum and the egg. So pollination means reproduction. So if a bee is going to be visiting violet flowers, this is the one that they visit, what is going to happen? What is going to happen to selection? So if I am selecting against, this is against, we're pushing down against these phenotypes, we're pushing down against these phenotypes, they're not getting visited by bees. What is my curve going to look like in the next generation? This is the same species of flower. We've got variation of flower color. Will the next curve of colors look like this? We'll call this curve number one. I guess we'll call it curve number one, curve number one, curve number two, curve number three. 1, 2, and 3. Now this, I will go to the chat. I don't want everybody speaking. Which is the curve is going to be 1, 2, or 3? What's the next generation going to look like? 1, 2, 3, 4 of you have chimed in. 6 of you have chimed in. It's going to be really important that you do chime in, that you're thinking about this. Okay, there's 6 of you that have chimed in, and you guys are right. Though everybody that chimed in is correct. It's going to be the middle curve. We selected against these, and we selected for violet. So let's try this again. So this is directional mode. Directional mode. So we're selecting for a rare phenotype. So for something that's rare. And there's uni. What does the term uni mean? So let's go to one of you guys. Let's say precious. Precious, what does uni mean? What does uni mean? Nope, not in the chat. We're going to be talking today. We're going to talk. What does uni mean? Okay, well, she said 1. You guys are scoring. You don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to go ahead and remind you that if you talk, you will do better. And you'll know at the end of the class why. Unidirections, Precious says 1. Okay, so yeah, so here we're selecting against, right? We're selecting against, and we're selecting for a rare phenotype. Well, these are more rare. We can see there's the number of individuals here is going to be lower. So the most common thing is violet. We're selecting against violet too, essentially, because we're selecting against one of extreme and for another. So violet's kind of close to blue, kind of close to red. The bees really want to visit, in this case, the red flower. They want to see that red flower. They like that red flower. So, and we shifted over to the right. We shifted to red more. This is going to be unidirectional, right? Since we went from one direction here, this was the mode, and we selected for red. It was one direction. So there's finally the last one is going to be diversifying selection. Diversifying. And it's also called disruptive. They write it both ways. So it could be disruptive selection or diversifying selection. So here we're selecting against the just right porridge, right? We're selecting against the intermediate, against the medium, the average. We're selecting against the average or the intermediate. So we, in this case, if this were my porridge again, this is too hot. This is just right. And this is going to be too cold. Too cold. So we're selecting against this one. So you should get diversity. So what is my curve going to look like now? Okay. 1, 2, 3. So what numbers are going to be common now? Drop that into the chat. Let's, because I want to see, and more than 6 this time. Awesome. Good job, Abby. Good job. Good job, Cam. There's going to, you make sure you're looking where selection is against. Selection against 2. Oh, yeah, there you go. It's a good job, Daisy. Good job. There were so many of you guys that got that one. Yeah, we're selecting against 2 and 4, 1, and 3. Really not a big deal. Red and blue is what we're going to get. This is diversifying selection. So we're selecting this, and then we'll come back to this idea in a few weeks. This is going to be something that's going to matter when we look at speciation in a few weeks. So now I'm going to ask you guys another question. And I want you guys to drop in the chat, what has a larger penis, a gorilla or a chimp? And do not look it up. Just what do you think? What do you think? And I'm going to keep a tally running over here. What do you think? A gorilla or a chimp?
Wait, can you repeat the question?
What has a larger penis, a gorilla or a chimp? And just drop it. God bless, y'all are fast. All right, keep it up. My God, y'all are fast. Or a chimpanzee. Somebody said gorilla or chimpanzee. I said gorilla. Gorilla and chimp, like a chimpanzee. All right, so we have, we almost have an even split. 8 of you guys selected gorilla and 7 of you guys selected chimp. Well, let's go and let's see about that. So now we're going to get away from mode and understand this is going to be matter. You need to know the difference. So it's not going to be mode anymore. We're looking at types of selection. So this is going to matter. So there's different types. So the first one's going to be ecological. And ecological selection is all about survival in a given environment. Selection for or against, and that's all we've done so far. The only thing that we've looked at so far is ecological selection. That's all. We've looked at ecological selection. What's going to survive? What's good for the environment? What is nature like or not like? That's selection. That's ecological selection. Now, there's a slightly different concept about sexual selection. Sexual selection is all about mating success. And it's based on sexual characteristics, secondary sexual characteristics. So look at me real quick. Let's see. I'm going to use, who do I want to talk to? I talk to, how about Daisy? No, not Daisy. I already talked to Daisy. I already got that. Let's go for Jessica Argueta. I haven't talked to her in a while. So Jessica, when you look at me, can you tell I'm a dude or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell. Okay, what do you see about me that tells you I'm a guy, that I'm male? Oh, you legit, I can't hear it. No offense. I'm gonna jump over here to Terry quite contrary. Don't worry about it. Terry, when you look at me, how can you tell I'm a dude? How can you tell I'm male?
your facial structure and like facial hair.
Yeah, that's exactly facial hair. That's the classic, right? I have facial hair. Um, I have facial structure. I don't know about structure, but maybe that I could see that. Anything else that you guys can think of? What else could kind of defines when you met me, you knew I was Mr. Pope and not Mrs. Pope? Oh, voice. Yeah, males in our species have a lower voice. We do have wider shoulders, chests are wider, hips are narrower, the beard, the build, right? There's a lot of secondary sex characteristics. Our species is what we call a dimorphic species, and it's ridiculous in some species. So in our species, it's pretty clear to tell whether you are a male or not. So the prefix di means two, and morphism is characteristics, right? Or more than one character. So in this case, you look at me and you think, oh, okay, yeah, that's a guy. I didn't mistake Terry when I met Terry. I was like, oh, yeah, Terry, she's female. There's no mystery around that, right? It has nothing to do with the genitalia. You have never seen my genitalia, nor will you, and I will never see yours. Let's keep it that way, right? These things are not going to affect it. We're talking about characteristics that are secondary sex characteristics, voice, facial hair. In some species, though, it's even more pronounced and even more ridiculous. And I mean it. So let's take a look at this lady. She's looking at this dude, and I say lady, this is a bird for Pete's sake. She's looking at this male, and she says, ooh, yeah, look at it. There it is. Look at that. She's looking at that head and she's going, wow, look at that naughty red crap hanging off your face. Look at that blue head. Look at that stripe around your neck. That's not probably very good for nature, but it's great for sexual reproduction. She's looking at him going, wow. And he's looking at her going, ooh, whoa, you got eggs. She's looking at him going, how do you survive in this environment and look as comical as you do? Because there's no doubt that he stands out to predators, yet he's there, right? He is present in the environment. And so there must be something about him that is exceptional. And so she looks at him for these extreme phenotypes. So this would be unidirectional selection, no doubt. This is going to be directional selection because the most extreme phenotype is what's favored. He's looking at her and he's just like, you got eggs. That's all that matters. She blends into the environment just fine. So what do you think this female likes? Y'all can drop this one into the chat. What do you think this female is looking at here? What would be a phenotype that this female would look at this male and say, ooh, that's nice. Oh yeah, the mouth. Look at that big mouth. You got a pretty mouth. Yeah, you look at that hump. Nice. Look at that color. Ooh, right? Yeah, she's probably looking at him going, whoa, look at that. Man, that guy's got a deep back. I like that. Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous, but you can see it there, right? There's something going on. They're dimorphic. They don't even look like the same species, for Pete's sake. So there's also we're going to add a layer of complexity to this. There's female choice in basically environments or situations or structures, societal structures and organisms. And there's also male to male competition. And so female choice, the female is doing all the choosing. Like here, she's looking at him going, whoa, look at that. Or this bird's going, whoa, look at him, right? Females are making decisions here. Now, in male to male competitive environments, it's very different. Males will hold territories, and whoever wins that territory mates with the females within that territory. That's how these situations work out. That's just, and sometimes there's kind of a blending of the two, but usually it's going to be slanted pretty heavily in favor of one or the other. There's some choices to be made. So let's take a look. What would you predict to happen to body depth? You think body depth would increase or decrease over generations? What do you think is going to happen to body depth? Got one answer. Don't tell me there's just one person. Oh, yeah, there you go. Keep it up. Keep it up. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Do you think it's going to increase or decrease based on this? Let's get Taylor Tubbs to weigh in. I haven't heard from Taylor. Taylor Tubbs, what do you think?
I was gonna say increase.
Yeah, totally increase, right? I totally see that. It's going to get deeper or taller, or it's going to increase, right? So this female mates with this male. The most extreme sons that they have are going to grow up, and then another female's going to look and go, "Ooh, I like those really deep backs." And then there's some variation there. So the most extreme of that generation, and it just keeps getting in a unidirectional pattern. You should get taller or deeper fish with each generation. So this would be my males, and this would be generation A, B, and C. And we're progressively getting deeper or taller backs with every generation based on sexual selection. Sexual selection is going to be unidirectional. It's going to be pushing one way. But where could there be a problem with this? Can you imagine that there would be a problem with this scenario? And I hope that you can. There should be a problem here. So let's ask Emma. Emma, can you imagine that there's a problem? Emma, start singing to Emma. Emma, could there be a problem here, Emma? We're stuck like Chuck. We can't go forward without you. Could somebody, yeah, there you go. Could there be a problem with this, kiddo?
I'm not sure.
Well, I'm going to rephrase this and let's try it again. So you're still on the hook. So with time, every generation, females are selecting males with deeper backs, these taller backs. And so this female mates with this male, produces sons, and then the next generation, this female selecting the males with the deeper backs. And if you have a deep back, you get to reproduce. If you get to reproduce, you pass down the trait for deeper backs. So as time goes on, with future generations from generation A, B, and C, they get deeper backs. They get taller. Can you imagine that there would be a problem with this?
No.
Oh, okay. Stick with me. Now, is there a problem?
Yes.
Okay. Which one is likely to survive? Which male's most likely to be successful for swimming upstream? This male, the first male, or the second male?
The first.
The first one. So there would be a problem. So stick with me. You're still on the hook. Is this ecological selection or sexual selection? Swimming up the stream.
Ecological?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the environment. The environment is saying you are good at swimming, you suck at swimming, your back's too close to the surface, an eagle's going to snatch your butt out of the water, or a bear's going to eat you, or you just have so much surface area that you create a lot of drag and it takes more energy to get upstream than this one. Or you have to eat a whole lot more to be this large to get upstream. And so this one may be who she gets to mate with. She wants to mate with this guy here, but she can't. So this guy loses the race because he doesn't survive at all. He's not going to make it. She would love to mate with this guy, but he's not there. And if you're not there, it doesn't matter. So I want you to think about it in terms of balance. So you really need to make sure that you're balancing out your everything, right? So if you're somebody who does nothing but study, you're just a studyholic, you don't do anything, I want straight A's, right? That could be really awesome. And people might really like that. And that could be a real big, that's a super nice trait to have. But if you're not putting yourself out there by, taking care of your business and grooming yourself, if you just walk into a situation drooling on yourself, well, probably you're not going to get selected as a mate. You might need to cut your hair and brush your teeth, right? So there's going to be two different types of selection going on. You need to be balanced. You need to have some charisma to attract a mate. But when you attract a mate, if you don't have a solid job, probably they're not going to talk to you very long, right? You might be attractive for a moment, but then they find out a little more about you and they bounce. So always think about balance. You've got ecological selection pushing those extreme phenotypes down. Don't be big. And in sexual selection pushing you up, be big. So it's often going to be a compromise how that actually works. It's going to be this one in the middle, this, so to speak, that's actually going to be the winner chicken dinner. So often people are going to say in evolution, well, evolution's, organisms are perfect. No, they're not. No way. Adaptations are often very much a compromise. We are locked in these historical constraints. I cannot be as good as I should be because I have too many other factors working against me. I have to swim and I have to mate. There's too many. I can't be perfect in either situation. There's always going to be a compromise involved. Not all evolution is adaptive. Sometimes there are accidents that give us new phenotypes or remove phenotypes. There could be some sort of, event like maybe the river gets dry or it gets really shallow and eliminates a phenotype from the population. And it was just, it's just a freak accident. So selection can also edit what exists. I can't get better at something as a population. I can't, like for me, we're never going to evolve a shell that's going to protect us against meteors falling from the sky. We don't have any trait for that selection. So it would be nice if I had that trait because I would be impervious to accidents in cars or shootings or anything. But we just don't have that. Let's take a look at a document. We're going to go to a document. Everybody go to Schoology today. Today's lesson. Let me get over there if I can. And let's see how you guys, if anybody else. Ooh, you guys, you actually did a little better than last period. The mode was 67, but the average was 69. There were 5 of you guys that got a 100 and only 2 in the last class. Anyway, I'm getting to your class. Let's see if I get there. All right, here we are. So I need you to open this document. It says female choice in male to male competition. This is it. So I'm going to open this and I'm going to open up, I'm going to give you guys say 1 minute to get over there. I'm going to open up rooms. If you haven't opened the document, you're going to be put in a room with people that haven't opened the document. I need you to have this document open. I don't know why it says access denied there. It's weird. So please, I need you to open that document. I'll be setting up rooms in the meantime. There we go. Get that document open. This will give you some time to get the document open. And when you open this document and you read it, I only want you guys to be thinking about, not only, but thinking also about what do these words mean, right? Like, what are these words meaning? Like, if you get a word and you're like, I don't know what that means, I want you guys to discuss it. And then when we come back, we'll talk about all these words. Like, I don't know the meaning of this word. So as you read it, be looking for terms you do not understand. Be looking for terms you don't understand. So I'm opening the rooms. You're only going to be in there for 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to discuss the article. I'll be moving people out of that room and into other rooms that do not have the article open. So if you find yourself all of a sudden vanished, it's because you don't have the document open. Are there any questions before we go in here? Okay. Roger that. Here we go. Looking for terms you don't know the meaning of. Yes, sir.
Mr. Fan, why did you move me from my room with Tracy and the other people?
Because you don't have the document open.
Yeah, we did. Tracy had the screen shared.
Okay, but you don't have your document open.
Everyone's supposed to be sharing the screen?
Yep. No, just have your document open so you can read and you can go, well, what about this? But if you're in there working along, I can bounce you in there.
Yeah, because I'm on my phone right now. That's why.
Okay. Well, don't use your phone and glass. That's a better idea to have a computer.
No, like my Zoom. Like my Zoom's on my
okay.
phone.
Gotcha. So Reggie, what about you, buddy? Reggie?
Yes, I'm here.
Have you got the document open yet?
Yeah, I got a document open, just logging in. Not using my phone, but an iPad, so it's longer and better. It's easier for me than a computer. Faster.
Well, apparently it isn't, because right now you're behind.
Alright.
Hello, beautiful people. We'll wait for everybody to get back in here. Give everybody just a second. We don't have everybody just yet. Got about 20 seconds. Well, it looked like it was which one was a female choice environment? Was it gorillas or chimps? Who was female choice? Oh, we're speaking. I'm not looking at the chat box. I'm literally not going to look at it. Well, which one was it? Were gorillas or chimps female choice? Which one was female choice?
Chimps.
Yep, the chimps were. All right, so let's see. We're going to look through this, and you guys tell me some terms. And when you like, you're not clear about what a term meant, tell us what paragraph and line, so that we can all go back and we can pull it out. So I'm looking at the article here. So what were some terms? Last class had 6. Let's see if we can get at least 5 from you guys. Usually have 5. Last class had 6. So what are some terms you guys wanted some clarity over?
Is it hominid? First paragraph, fourth line.
Yeah. What is a hominid? So
Yes.
a hominid is a human. So, but understand that there's been a lot of different species of human. There's only one species left, and that's us. We're Homo sapien. But at one time, there were 5 different species of humans living together, coexisting. In fact, 3 species actually lived in the same area. Well, we're the only human species that remains. All the other species of humans died out. The last species that went extinct was Homo neanderthalis. You guys probably have heard them as referred to as Neanderthals. And I think they reference in this article another species here. Yeah, Homo erectus. And Homo erectus, we feel like at this time was probably the ancestor to all the other species of humans. They were the ancestral species. Good job bringing that one up. That the last class asked that one too. So let's see if we can get 4 more.
Bipedal.
Which paragraph and sentence?
The second paragraph.
Okay, second paragraph. Which sentence, kid? I think that's Tubbs, right? I'm looking for, bipedalism, I think was it, right?
Bipedalism.
Yeah, but where is, you said which paragraph? 2?
Yeah, it says it has been theorized that bipedalism.
I think it's in the 3rd paragraph.
Third paragraph, 3rd sentence. Try to give me which paragraph and sentence. Yeah, right there, bipedalism. Bipedalism is bi meaning 2, pedal or pedo actually is foot. So walking on 2 feet. And there's a hypothesis that bipedalism, and it's not very well supported, but there is a hypothesis that bipedalism evolved in our species so that males were able to show off their genitalia. Good one. That the last class brought up that one too. That was the 6th one they brought up. Let's try to get 3 more.
In the second paragraph, there's vasocongestion. I don't know. It's second to last sentence.
Yeah. So let's break down this word. I'm going to break down the word in parts. So there's vaso first. So vaso, that means vascular. So blood related. So it's going to be, your arteries, veins, capillaries, your circulatory system, your vascular system. That's going to be where it's blood. And congestion, I just messed it up. congestion is just that, really. Have you ever had nasal congestion or sinus congestion? It's where you're full of something, right? So if your nose is full of mucus, it's congested. If you ever have a congested freeway, it's full of cars. So vasocongestion in our species describes how our penises become erect. So a male penis in a Homo sapien is actually full of blood. There's vascular tissues and blood. Your blood pressure falls, so those blood vessels can open, and the penis can be full of blood. That's not very common. Most mammals have an actual bone that is inserted into the penis, and that bone's in the abdominal cavity. And you can Google penis bone, and you can find it. There's a lot of species that have penis bones. Whale penis bones obviously are enormous. A mouse penis bone is like a toothpick. It's ridiculous. People have actually used some of these things for toothpicks and stuff. Okie doke. Two more. Let's get two more.
I think it's ostrich.
Paragraph in line.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paragraph 5 and line 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Line 5. Oh, ostrich right here. Okay. Okay. So what in our species, you would describe ostrich as women and humans, or females and humans, have an ovulation, right? So you have a menstrual cycle that occurs about every 4 weeks. So and when you're an ostrich, that's when you're actually ovulating an egg. And there's an egg that's leaving your ovary, going down a fallopian tube and implanting in your uterus. There's the lining of the uterus, and the inside of it is full of this thing called the endometrium. It gets really thick and full of vascular tissue, for, like, again, that vaso word. And all those blood vessels will go in there and feed an egg if it's fertilized. Well, this is for us is about 4 days. If that egg isn't fertilized during that time, all that vascular tissue in the endometrium sloughs off, and you have what we refer to as your period. In that's where there's a blood loss, and there's kind of tissue. You know, the females that are here know that's not just blood, but there's some fibrous tissue that comes out, and all that is just blood vessels that have been released. When you're an ostrich, though, that's when that egg is ripe and it's ready to be fertilized, when you're in that period of the few days where you're able to be fertilized. Our species, that we're an ostrich every month. In other species, it's only once, twice, maybe 3 times a year during a mating season, but we're not a seasonal mating species. Other species will only experience this maybe in the spring or in the fall. It just kind of depends. So one more term. There's got to be another one. We need at least.
Can you explain an ovum? Same line, same paragraph.
Yeah, I was hoping that the last class needed that one too. An ovum is an egg. That's it. It's just an egg, right? And so that you'll fertilize, you want to fertilize with another gamete, with sperm, you'll fertilize an ovum. So in biology, we'll refer to an egg as an ovum. That's what it is. It's an ovum. All right, that's 5. Does anybody else want to bring up one more word? Last class, there was one more word somebody wanted to bring up before we get to the guiding practice words. Questions? Okie doke, here we go then. So first question, what are 2 organs within the male reproductive system which are under selection in female choice environments? So in this case, the chimps won the race, right? Especially if we go up here and we can look. Humans are only slightly greater than that of chimps. If you'll see, we have a slightly larger penis relative to our body size than chimps. Chimps are almost equal proportions to us. So we're probably, as it insinuates here, also in a female choice environment, or we recently evolved from one. So probably less patriarchy in our system than there used to. There used to be a lot more matriarchy, probably. So what are two organs that are under selection in female choice environments? And it's in the text. Think of it like an ACT reading. What are two organs in the male reproductive system which are under selection in female choice environments? And you can support it with the text. Oh, I'm not looking at the chat unless you're going to have to actually volunteer it. You're going to have to actually volunteer it. There's one person on here that I know whose mic is not working because they tried and they couldn't speak.
Is it the penis and testes?
Yeah, the penis and testes, right? Isn't that crazy? It's amazing actually. The penis is in a chimp is not only has to be large, but it also talks about, where is that in the text? Let's see. Let's see. Where in the text was that? Yeah, here it is. Yeah, then we're talking about the testes itself. And so these testes in chimps are monstrous. They're huge. Their testicles are really big. And how many males will a female chimp mate with in a day? Does it say in here? Yeah, chimps have testicles that are twice the size of ours. Does it say how many times a female will mate with a male chimp or bonobo?
I think it just says several.
Several. So if there's several males that would, and one of the terms another person brought out, ejaculate, that means deposit semen, so semen leaving the penis. If you leave a greater sum of semen, then the chance that your sperm, if you release twice as much sperm as another male, then you will get the female impregnated and your genes will be passed on. Well, if testicle size and penis size is a genetic trait, which it is, then you would expect, just like that sexual selection, to be extreme and unidirectional and push it upward. So you get this, you get that two phenotypes. So what about the next question was, what organs and phenotypes are under selection? You know, and we're really saying and or phenotypes for male to male competition. So like the gorilla, what's the phenotypes that are under selection there?
Muscles.
Muscles for one. And who was that?
Jalen.
Okay, that was who?
Jalen.
Jalen. Okay, thank you. So what else? Muscles for one. And there's something else that it said was under selection. We only have 5 minutes, guys.
Canines.
Canines. What are canines?
The teeth.
Yeah, the teeth. And so why do you think that's under selection? Why would, in male-to-male competition, why would that be under selection?
Females find it attractive.
No, it's not. It's male-to-male competition.
Would it be intimidating and fighting potential competitors?
Yeah, who was that?
Ashley.
Ashley, thank you, Ashley. Yeah, that's just to intimidate your competitors. Say, look how I've got bigger, scarier teeth than you have. I've got bigger biceps. I mean, it says that they have bigger biceps. That they'll have to fight off other males, right? They're going to have to fight off these other males. And if they're trying to fight them off, well, if you've got big teeth and really strong muscles, well, then you win. So there's so real strong selection for biceps. And there's really, and there might actually be selection against having a large penis, because remember, this is an organ that's just hanging out, right? And if you're living in a forest, that might be a disadvantage. So there could be selection, ecological selection against that penis size, but there's going to be sexual selection for biceps and canines, because here you've got this situation where you're able to fight off other males and you get to win. And if you win, then you get to mate. Pretty good. You guys are doing great. So let's jump to the next set of questions. What other male phenotypes outside of this in the article? So I just want to know, what is your hypothesis? What do you think might actually be under selection in either one of these? Just hypothetical. There's no evidence in the article. This is just what you think could be under selection in either male-to-male competition or female choice.
One's height,
I'm sorry?
their height, like how tall they are.
Okay, so, and who is this?
Lazaria.
Okay, so is that female choice or is that male-to-male competition?
It could be both, because it can be like, for male to male competition, it could be intimidating to see another person tall, like the other opponent tall, and for female, it can be seen as attractive.
Absolutely. Good job. I would have thought it both too. Yeah, totally. I could see that. Is there anything else that you could imagine? We only have 2 more minutes. Anybody else? And I'm really specifically ignoring the chat because I want to encourage you guys to speak. The next lesson is going to be, I'll be honest with you, it's going to be one that you have to think and talk a lot about. It's going to be totally centered on math. And if we don't, and there's going to be a ton of math in the next one, and you guys are going to have to talk, and otherwise you're going to struggle with it. Everybody will. Nobody's going to be in here going, oh, this is easy, until you get it. Once you get it, you'll be like, oh, it's simple.
Maybe like body hair.
What do you mean? If for male to male or female choice?
Female choice.
Okay, she's looking for more body hair or less body hair?
Perhaps.
Either one, right? It kind of depends. It kind of just depends. It could go either direction. I see that.
Do you mean for chimps or for people?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it could be different. And I'm not just thinking about us, but I'm thinking about all sorts of other species, right? Not just necessarily us. But yeah, I could see that within our it could be cultural, right? Depending on what culture you come from.
What about wealth? I don't just mean like with people, but like how much, like for example, some animals might be where like if it's a bigger animal, they eat more or something like that. So like just has more. And that's like female choice.
Yeah, and it's funny in female choice. This is in bonobos and chimps. This is how chimps operate. There'll be a female. These male chimps will come to the females and be like, "I got you some fruit," and she'll be like, "Oh, okay, fruit. Nah, maybe I'll have sex with you. We'll see." But if a chimp or bonobo brings a female a monkey, they love to eat monkeys. He goes, "Ooh, he brought you some fruit, but look at this. I've got you. I killed a monkey and brought it to you." She's like, "Oh, you had me at monkey. I love you." And there's a lot of mating going on around that. It's pretty amazing actually how that works. But yeah, it could literally be that, right? It could literally be that. And you can see that as being maybe some slight male to male competition, because males are actually competing in the forest to get food. And then and then she's making some choices based on what you brought. I'm going to have to end this, right? So I just want to make sure that you understood selection and all the different types of selection. This is a great topic. If you take biology in college, I guarantee your professor is going to pose the same question, and you're going to be like, "Oh, I know the answer to this one." And then you guys can just rattle off and everybody's going to turn around and go, "What? Where did this kid go to school?" Because this is a classic that biology teachers use in universities. All right, I'm going to stop. If you want to stay back and ask me any questions, you can. Otherwise, your jobs are dismissed. Make sure you bring a calculator to the next class. You're going to need a calculator. Your phone is fine if you want to use your phone. Otherwise, I'm going to hang back and I'll talk to anybody as long as you need me to. You guys be good. You guys did great, by the way.
Hi.
Oh, if you volunteered today, you get extra 5 points on the quiz. If you spoke without having to be asked. Yeah.
Mr. Paul,
What?
did you get me? 'Cause I want to make sure you got me.
Who was that?
That was Mia.
Mia. Oh, but were you asked or did you just volunteer? Oh,
I was the one who mentioned
yeah,
it.
but your last name was Wallace, so I didn't write it down. So I didn't get, oh man, I'm kidding. I got you. Yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 people volunteered today. Awesome.
Bye, Mr. Poe.
Play in the street. Period. That's right. Period. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a section in the IA for what's it called? Partners. So we were wondering, like, what is if you're working with someone, what do the IAs look like? Like, how similar is it allowed to be or stuff like that?
They're not similar. I mean, similar in terms of the design, but you'll have to write independently. You can just do the experiment together. The only thing that that's it. You can work together to design the experiment, but you're going to write completely separate of one another because they're going to literally put it in to turn it in, just like we do, and look all over the world. If somebody copies an experiment on another part of the planet, they're going to know it, and they're going to know it immediately. Like if you copy somebody else's protocol, somebody else's procedures, they're going to see it. You're going to lose points big time. So if you write it with somebody else, you're going to have to write on your own, right? Completely right. But and they'll let you do it as long as you're measuring a different dependent variable. So as an example, in your class, I've read 11 of them in the past 2 days. People have already been turning these in. There's a lot of people that are using photosynthesis. So if they're using photosynthesis, one's measuring oxygen production and the other one's measuring carbon dioxide consumption. So if you're measuring 2 different variables, that's fine. You can have the same independent variable, but if one person's writing about oxygen production, the other one's writing about oxygen consumption, then you can do it together.
Oh, okay. And we're not allowed to do something that's like been previously like done like or seen online or something?
You totally can, but there's nothing new under the sun, right? Very, very little. I have only seen one experiment in all of the time that I've been in biology, that it's been for science fair, that somebody has done something completely novel that I've never heard of or seen before. Only once. Everybody's you're testing high school biology topics mostly. So there's people are going to have done this before. It's just going to be own design.
All right, thank you.
Welcome. Don, you got a question, kid? Hello, Stein. Stein, am I? I'm assuming that you're not there.